It's Brindley, and I am so excited to be here tonight. First and foremost, I have a big win to celebrate with all of you. As of today, I have officially lost 30 pounds. And I'm really excited about this. And it's part of the topic tonight that has helped me. So I am on day 7. Today will end day 7. Tomorrow we'll start day 8 of no food. I am on a liquid diet right now. We are figuring out some gut health stuff that has prevented me from losing a lot of weight and reaching my health goals. And this year, I turned 40 last April, and I said this year would be my health year. It was the only area of my life that I had not truly put the work of being uncomfortable into. And so I just want to celebrate that with all of you, because a lot of people are asking me, how are you going 7 days without food? How are you doing this? And it really brought me to today's topic. And today's topic came straight out of a book that I read every morning. It's a devotional that I read, and it's John Maxwell's Daily Leadership Reader. It's a leadership reader. It's a daily devotional that John Maxwell does for leaders, and it was around attitude. And so the title of tonight's Breakthrough with Brindley is My Attitude, My Choice. Those of you that exist in my Keller Williams world, we got a lot of news, kind of interesting news today. I'm really excited about where our company is headed and where leadership is going. We've had some amazing leaders that have gotten us to where we are today, and we honor them. And the leaders that Gary is putting in place to take us to the next level is even more exciting. And it all wraps up into my attitude is my choice. How I choose to look at things, how I choose to act towards them, what I choose my opinions to be, what I choose my attitude towards them to be is all my choice. What happens is that we allow events to dictate our attitude instead of remembering that it's a choice. So where does this come from? Well, first of all, your attitude is just the outward expression of how you're feeling on the inside. So the attitude that you show on the outside is just reflecting what you feel on the inside. And as kids, we're actually taught, and our attitude is formed by events, right? So when certain things happen, hi Shawnee, thank you. So when something happens, it dictates our attitude, right? When we're kids. So when we're put in timeout, we have a bad attitude. When we don't do well in school, we have a bad attitude. When we lose, the game, or we don't get picked for kickball, all of those events as children form our attitudes, because we haven't quite realized yet that we have the power of choice. And then as we get older, it starts to become clear that our attitude is a choice, that we can choose to adjust it or we can choose to stay in it. And the process of learning to adjust your attitude is a lifelong project. It's something that we have to learn over and over again. You all hear me talk about when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and the teacher will remain until the lesson is learned. So you may be going through something today that is teaching you about attitude, and you may not fully learn the lesson. And if you don't fully learn the lesson today, you're going to have the lesson again 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. It's just going to be in a different package, differently, and look differently in order to help you hopefully learn the lesson at that time. So learning to adjust your attitude is a lifelong project. And so I ask you also, how is your attitude manifesting your circumstances? If attitude is a choice, and we choose to have a bad attitude or a good attitude or an indifferent attitude, how is that power of choice manifesting itself in your circumstances? You could actually be manifesting your future through your attitude, or by choosing not to adjust your attitude. So how do we do it? How do we adjust our attitudes? Well, I'll share with you all that I've been in a funk. I've been in a funk the last month and a half. Things have been unbalanced. I've been going through these health transitions, and I'm going through a lot of things in my life that are very uncomfortable right now, that are causing me to sit in a lot of uncomfortability. And when I sit in uncomfortability, I start to doubt myself. I start to think less of myself. My ego finds its way to creep in to try to prevent me from being my highest and best self. And I finally had to snap out of it. I finally had to say to myself, okay, Brindley, you're in a rut and you're in a funk, and you need to get out of it, because you're the only one that has control. You're the only one that controls the destiny of getting you out of this situation. So here's a few things that I do when I'm in a rut or when I have a bad attitude and I need to change my attitude. Number one, focus on what you can control. My dear friend and mentor Ben Kinney says this all the time. He actually has a triangle written around it, right? We have to focus on the things that we can control. Typically, our bad attitudes are coming from people, places, or things that we have absolutely no control over. And the lack of control is what's causing the bad attitude or the negative attitude. So we have to quickly shift to what we focus on the things that we can control, which is ourselves. We can focus on our thoughts, our behaviors, all of the things that we have control over. Number two is that we have to change the way we look at things, right? If we change the way we look at things, things we look at will change. We know this to be true. So we have to be solution based. If we're constantly focused on the problem and we're constantly focused on the negativity, then guess what kind of attitude we're always going to have? We're always going to have a negative and a bad attitude. Yet if we're choosing to control and focus on the things that we can control, be solution based, abundance mindset, stay out of scarcity, get out of victim, then we're going to have a better attitude. Again, it's a choice. Every single moment is a choice. We can choose to continue to go down the rabbit hole of the bad attitude, or we can choose to pull back, take a minute and say, wait a minute, what are the things I can control? And let's start focusing on those. Number three, I got to spend the day with somebody pretty amazing yesterday, and he's very, very smart. And he said he learned something from someone, a mentor, years ago. And the advice they gave him was, when you want to get through something, just stop thinking about it. Just don't think about it. And I sat there and I thought about it. I thought about him not thinking about it, right? How funny is that? And I'm like, wow, because we do have the power of choice in our thoughts also. You all have heard me say it before. I'm not responsible for my first thought. I can't control the first thought. The first thought is going to come, but I can control the second thought. And we have to go back and remember that we've got to train that second thought to tell our first thought, we don't think like that anymore. The second thought is where the power of choice happens. The second thought is where we can choose to change the attitude, to change the behavior, to change the pattern, to change the way of thinking. So just don't think about it. And just don't think about it by making sure that your second thought tells your first thought, we don't think like that anymore. We're just not going to think about it. We're just going to stop thinking about it. Number four, get into the service of others and or gratitude. Right? Call somebody, tell them you love them, tell them that you are grateful for them, go do an act of service. That is a surefire way to get you out of a bad mood. Anytime I'm in myself, anytime I'm in a bad mood, I know that I'm sitting in my stuff, I'm sitting in my own poop, and I need to go out and I need to help somebody and get out of my own selfish place, because that's what's giving me the bad attitude. Number four, pray for others. I don't know why this works. I can't explain it, but I tell people this all the time and they come back to me and they're like, whoa, I can't believe that worked. If you have a bad attitude towards another human and you're having a hard time accepting their humanness, pray for them. Now, I'm not saying that you have to pray to a Jesus God. Pray to whatever you believe. You guys hear me say it all the time. I don't care who your God is, as long as it's not you. But there's some bigger thing than you. It can be Mother Nature. It can be your God. It can be a Christian God. It can be whatever it is. Yet, and if you don't choose to pray, then choose to maybe do positive statements towards that person, direct positive energy towards that person in a meditative state. But praying for them for 21 days consistently will start to change your attitude towards them. Here's what's amazing and fascinating is that when our attitude changes, the people around us, their attitudes change. They change by either living by our example and following our example, or they leave because they can't handle that we are not giving into the bad attitude, or we're not feeding it, right? We're choosing to ignore it. We're choosing to set a boundary. So praying for someone will help to change your perception of them and get you out of that funk and get you out of the bad attitude. Now, what do you pray for? I don't pray this 20-minute long prayer. The prayer that I pray is very simple. I pray for such person that they would have all the things I would want for myself: peace, love, happiness, and wealth. And that's it. I pray for this person that they would have everything I would want for myself: peace, love, happiness, and wealth. And I don't know what it is. Typically, I don't even have to go the full 21 days. Right around day 8 or 9, all of a sudden the resentment is lifted. I'm clear. I no longer think about it. They no longer have control over me, and I'm able to move on. The last tip I will give you is one of my favorite things, and it was shared with me by one of my dear friends, John Schumacher, and that's your joy file. Everybody should have a joy file. And that's a file that you have somewhere in your house, in your drawer, in your desk. And in that folder are all the kind notes, the nice things that people have said about you. If you get an email from someone, you stick it in that folder. If you get a nice thank you card of someone telling you how great you are, you stick it in that joy folder. And then when you have a bad attitude or you have a bad day, you pull that joy folder out and you read all those nice things that people have said about you. Do not rob the world of what you can give because of your attitude. Your attitude is a choice, and the world deserves to have all of you and to have you at your highest and best self. So I hope this has helped tonight. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. If you want to see a topic next week, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you guys at 6 o'clock next week. Bye.